Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Chess This Week. Now this one's going to be a bit of a short episode as there are not many mainstream tournaments going on apart from the Tata Steel Masters and Challengers in Vacancy. Now this Vacancy tournament, dubbed as the Wimbledon of chess, is one of the strongest tournaments in the illustrious history of this traditional tournament. This features some of the best players in the world, starting from Magnus to some of the best youngsters in the world. And at the end of 8 rounds, which is about 60% of the way through, the Uzbek prodigy Nurimbek Abdusattorov is leading with 6 out of 8. He's being closely pursued by Wesley So and Anish Giri, and with 5 rounds to go, this is going to be a pretty interesting finish, especially considering that Nurimbek has to play against both Wesley So as well as Anish in the last 5 rounds. Now, aside from these players, the world's strongest chess player, Magnus Carlsen, had a pretty modest start to this tournament. He started off with 5 draws in the first 6 games without a single win, and he picked up a bit of pace. He won the 7th round against Richard Rapport with the white pieces and won with the black pieces against Fabiano Caruana in the 8th round. So with 4.5 out of 8, he's just starting to pick up some momentum, and he's also still in contention of winning this tournament. Amongst the Indian players, Pragg has had a pretty good tournament. He has 4.5 out of 8, and he was so close to getting past 2700 in the live ratings, but this was a bit marred by his 8th round loss against Richard Rapport, but it's still a pretty decent score. The tournament hasn't gone great for Arjun, who started off with 6 draws in the first 6 games and went on to lose the 7th and the 8th round games. The tournament has not gone great for Gukesh either. In the first 7 games, he lost 4 of them and drew 3, and it wasn't looking up for him in the 8th round as well against Parham Magsoglu, but he managed to brilliantly turn things around in the end and score his first win, showing immense character. So with that win, he can look forward to bringing back the momentum in the last 5 games. 2.5 out of 8 doesn't look great, but he has the momentum on his side. And in the Tata Steel Challengers, the German Grandmaster Donchenko is leading with an identical score, 6 out of 8. He's also being closely pursued by a couple of people with 5.5 out of 8. And amongst Indians, Adiman had almost an identical start to Arjun with 6 out of 6 draws in the first 6 games, and even lost the 7th round like Arjun, but managed to win the 8th round, so he goes into the rest day with positive momentum. Vaishali also had a pretty cold and dull start to the tournament with just 1 out of 5 in the first 5 games, but managed to turn things around brilliantly with wins in the 6th and the 7th round. So at the end of 8 rounds, she has 3.5 out of 8. Now this is the story of the Tata Steel Masters and the Challengers. Now moving on to another important news in the chess world, the FIDE World Championship match, which for the first time in many years, Magnus Carlsen is not going to take part in. So this makes things quite interesting because the tournament will literally not have a favorite. It's between Jan Nepomniachtchi of Russia and Ding Liren of China, 2 very evenly matched players, and it's very hard to pick favorites amongst these 2 competitors. And the tournament is scheduled to be held in Astana in Kazakhstan, which is an interesting choice. Kazakhstan shares borders with both Russia and China, but is a neutral venue. And the time zone of Kazakhstan is also set to suit many viewers from the international audience as well as from Russia and China. Now, what are your thoughts about this World Championship match? Do let us know in the comments below. Who is your favorite for the World Championship match, Nepo or Ding? And what are your thoughts about the location of the World Championship match in Kazakhstan as well? Now, aside from these mainstream events, a couple of national championships also took place. The Azerbaijan Championship was won by Grandmaster Vasif Durarbeyli, and close by, in the Armenian National Championship, this was won by Grandmaster Tershahakian Samvel. Now these tournaments, apart from having the prestige of the national championship, also counts for the FIDE circuit, which is one of the qualification paths for the World Championship match for the candidates tournament. So this holds quite a lot of weight. And talking about the FIDE circuit, FIDE has launched the website where you can see who has scored how many points towards this qualification path. And right now, as of today, at the time of recording this video, this is being led by Grandmaster Yam Pranesh, one of the most recent Grandmasters from India, with a score of 6.76 points, courtesy his win in the Rilton Cup in Sweden just a few weeks ago. So this is something you can watch out for. I will link the website in the description below, and you can see who's leading in the World Championship cycle, the qualification path at which point, and also the super complicated path and how it's calculated. All these details will be in the website. Now that's this episode of the Chess This Week. It's a short one because there are not a lot of mainstream tournaments going on, once again repeating myself. This is partly due to the reason that the Gibraltar Open tournament, which used to be called as the Gib Telecom Masters, one of the strongest annual open tournaments, is not taking place since the pandemic. And there also used to be a couple of strong tournaments in Russia, the Moscow Open and the Aeroflot Open in the January-February months. This is also not taking place or does not feature international participation. So this has left a fallow season in chess tournament schedule, which is also kind of appropriate considering that in India the harvest season is January. So the players can enjoy their halves of season celebrating whichever festivals are there across India. So that's this episode of the Chess This Week. If you like this episode, then do hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And see you all probably one more time before I leave vacancy. So see you all. Bye-bye.